What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tunji's podcast. I am your host, Tunji Taylor Lewis. I am currently at the Toronto Pearson Airport, waiting to take a trip back to Vancouver. I've been here for the past few days, visiting some family, and as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about with you guys today, I figured I'd just tell the story of why is it that I am living in Vancouver when the rest of my family is living out here in the Toronto area. It's a pretty crazy story, a pretty life-changing one, but it definitely ended up being the correct decision for me. So I was born in Vancouver. I was born in the Vancouver area. Grew up there with my family, my parents, my two younger brothers, and my youngest sister. This is where we grew up. This is where we went to elementary school, middle school. This is where we made all of our friends. This is where we went to high school. This is where I went to university. So like from the time I was born until I was around 22, 23, everybody was out here. Not everybody was out here. Everybody was out there in the Vancouver area. And then my mom got a pretty cool job opportunity for herself out here in Toronto, and she took the flight out to check out to see if it was something that she actually wanted to do. Around the same time, I was about to finish with my university degree in media and communications from Trinity Western University. And I had also kind of decided on like acting and comedy to be my calling and to be my pursuit and what I wanted to do with my life. And so it was definitely an interesting time because, when your mom says something like, I'm taking a job interview out in Toronto, you kind of hear it, but like it's such a big life-changing scenario that you don't really, for me, like when big scenarios like that happen, I don't take it all the way in until like it's actually happening, right? And it was a really interesting time because like around the same time that she was considering a job offer in Toronto, I also got an offer from an improv company out here in Toronto, the Second City out here in Toronto, to do an audition for them to potentially perform for them, potentially, either go on their tours or perform, in their theater out here in Toronto. And so we actually came out to Toronto around the same time to do our interviews and do our auditions. I didn't get the gig. Later on, I heard it was because of politics. Basically, what happened with the Second City was that, they thought I was good, they thought I was talented, but I didn't come up through their program. I came out through a program out in Vancouver, and that's where I gained my skills. And so they didn't want to bring me on because they wanted everybody who they hired to be on their stage. They wanted to have the credit for how good they were, and they couldn't take the credit for my training and like how good I was because, I came up in Vancouver. So politics led me to not getting the gig, unfortunately. And so we come back, and then when we get back to Vancouver, we later find out that my mom got her job out in Vancouver. When we were in Vancouver, we found out that my mom got the job that she was interviewing for in Toronto. And that was pretty life-changing for the entire family because, again, all of our friends were out in Vancouver. We had a lot of family out in Toronto. So that was good. We had a lot of people that we knew, family friends who were in Toronto, so it wouldn't be, a completely, foreign situation. But, as you can imagine, for myself personally, it was just like I was just about to graduate. I just figured out what I wanted to do with my life, and and I knew that, and I had just basically been, rejected by this theater out in Toronto. So Vancouver seemed to be the best option, but it was definitely looking like the moment I graduated, the stability and the assurance of being able to live with my parents for a little while and to depend on them, that was quickly going to go away because my parents had made the decision that that they were moving the family out to Toronto. So basically, at that point, I have 4 siblings, but only the oldest 2. So me and my brother Ademi, who was in his 20s also at the time, we were the only ones who were able to make the decision whether we wanted to stay in Vancouver or whether we wanted to move to Toronto. So I kind of looked at my situation. I just said, okay, this theater out in Toronto, said no. I have a little bit of a thing going, with the improv theater that I'm with, Vancouver Theatre Sports. I have a little bit of a thing going with them. At that point, I had booked a commercial out here in Vancouver. There's less black people in Vancouver than there is in Toronto, and there's more stuff being filmed in Vancouver than there is in Toronto. So just from a purely I guess you could say I made a business decision. I made a decision that was going to be, I felt, the best direction for my career and what I wanted to do with my life. And so I decided, I think I'm going to stay here, mom and dad, and then, everybody else moved to Toronto. So that was a really, really scary time. That was a really, really scary time and I remember during my graduation from university, just feeling relieved that school was over, but also feeling really, really on edge about what the future held, because I had no idea what it looked like. I had never looked for my own place before. I'd never lived on my own before, and I knew that this was the right decision for me, but I just didn't know how to go about it because I had either lived with my parents or I was living on campus at university. I never had to figure these things out for myself, and so that was a really, 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 really stressful time for me. But luckily, my mom was there to help me. My mom helped me, make an arrangement with some family friends of ours in the Vancouver area. So I stayed in their guest bedroom for a while. Actually, if you look back to some of my old videos, some of my first ones, I'm in a room with a brown wall and a white closet. I would do all my videos in front of there. That was in the guest bedroom that I was staying there with some family friends. Shout out to the Ayasuatas for letting me stay there for the months that I was there. And from that commercial that I had booked, I had saved that money. I didn't spend. So when I got that commercial money, I took half of it and saved it right away, and I never touched that money for months. I never touched it. And I was hoping to find a way to support myself or find an extra job before I moved out of their place. But I wasn't able to do that. Actually, no, I was able to find myself a little job, a little social media job with a theater company, with this old-time theater company that knew so nothing about social media. So I was able to swoop in and help him with that. So I was making a little bit of extra money from there. And then the combination of that and the money I had saved up from my commercial allowed me to have the confidence to find a place out in Vancouver, which is what I did. Found a place in Vancouver, and since then I've been in the hot pursuit of trying to make this acting thing happen, trying to make this comedy thing happen. And it's been a lot of ups and downs, but going out there and pursuing these things myself has really, really made me grateful for the times when I could just come out here in Toronto and just reunite with my family. And it's a really, really great time of looking back and being grateful for just how much your parents have done for you, how much your family means to you, and being in a world where you have to fend for yourself and protect yourself all the time. It's really, really great every once in a while to be in an environment where you can just let your guard down and just be yourself and laugh and have fun. So yeah, that's my story of how you know, I basically was forced to, you know, leave my home situation and start, you know, making a life for myself. So thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great day today. Peace out.